1965, bodybuilding wasn't a business, it was obsession. Guys trained twice a day, ate 6 meals of steak and eggs, and slept on gym floors because they couldn't afford rent. There was no Instagram to prove you were working hard, no influencer deal waiting at the end, just the iron and the mirror and the guy next to you who wanted it more. Who was the best bodybuilder of the 1960s? It wasn't Arnold. Larry Scott won the first 2 Mr. Olympias, 1965 and 66, but the title belongs to Sergio Oliva. 3 Olympia wins between 1967 and 69, including a win over a young Arnold in his very first Olympia. Nobody had ever seen that kind of mass and symmetry combined before. Arnold had one secret nobody could copy: his grip. He trained his forearms almost every single day, something most bodybuilders skipped entirely. Old training partners said his grip strength alone could out-arm wrestle guys twice his size. This man beat Arnold Schwarzenegger twice. Then, Arnold made sure it never happened again. Sergio Oliva, Cuban defector, the myth. In 1967 and 68, he took Mr. Olympia over Arnold, and by most accounts, wasn't even close. His waist-to-shoulder ratio is still argued about today. Nobody's built like that naturally, they said. Didn't matter. Arnold went back to the gym obsessed. Added size nobody thought was possible. And by 1970, he'd flipped the script for good. Sergio never got his 3rd Olympia. Some say the judging changed. Some say Arnold just outworked him. Either way, this rivalry built modern bodybuilding. Sergio Oliva could have kept competing for years. Instead, he walked away from bodybuilding while he was still one of the best in the world. No big goodbye, no farewell tour, just gone. And almost nobody talks about why. 1975, Arnold used a recovery method after training that most doctors at the time actually warned against. He did it anyway, every single day. It's barely talked about now, but it might be one of the most underrated parts of how he trained so hard, so often, without breaking down. During Arnold's era, anabolic steroids were legal, widely used, and openly part of competitive bodybuilding. Arnold has talked about this himself over the years. Then the rules changed. Steroids got banned from the sport entirely, and the whole game shifted overnight. Arnold trained his mind as hard as his body. Before he ever touched a weight, he'd picture the muscle he wanted, see it in his head, fully built before it existed. He called it something like training the mind's eye, visualizing the rep before doing it, visualizing the physique before he had it. Most lifters just count reps. Arnold was rehearsing a future body, one set at a time. That mental discipline is why people say his training wasn't just physical, it was closer to obsession, aimed in one direction every single day. Decades later, that's the part most people still get wrong. They chase the workout. He chased the vision first. Arnold didn't just want a big chest. He wanted one that looked carved. Training at Gold's Gym in the late 60s, he hit chest with a volume most guys today would call insane. Sometimes 20 sets, multiple angles, one session. Incline for upper chest, flat bench for mass, flies for that outer sweep, dips to finish it off. Same muscle, hit from every angle possible. The goal wasn't just bigger, it was separated. Lines you could actually see between each part of the chest, like it was built in pieces, not one slab. And he wasn't doing it alone. He trained with guys just as obsessed as him, all pushing each other past where they'd normally stop. That's half the reason that chest became what it became. Decades later, it's still the one every bodybuilder gets compared to. Franco Columbo stood 5 feet 5 inches and could outlift almost anyone at Gold's Gym. Sardinian by birth, former boxer before bodybuilding, he came into the sport already tougher than most people training around him. His deadlift and squat numbers were legendary for his size. Guys twice his height would watch him load a bar and just shake their heads. He trained alongside Arnold for years. Different builds, same relentless work ethic. Arnold got the bigger frame. Franco got the strength nobody could touch pound for pound. He went on to win Mr. Olympia twice, proving size alone was never the whole story in that era. Decades later, Franco's still the answer to the same question. How much can a smaller man actually carry? Everyone loves the highlight reel version of the golden era. Arnold, Franco, Sergio. Legends built from nothing, right? Well, kind of. That part's true. But there's a piece of this story most channels just skip because it's messier than a highlight reel. So today we're doing the full picture. The training volume that sounds almost fake by today's standards. The genetics nobody wants to talk about. And yeah, the substance use this whole era openly ran on. Not to shock you, just to tell it straight, for once. This bodybuilder used to eat 20 raw eggs a day. Like, on purpose. The legend? Franco Columbo, Arnold's training partner. He just cracked them straight into a glass and chugged the whole thing. No blender, nothing. Back in the 70s, guys genuinely believed raw yolks packed on mass faster than cooked ones. Spoiler, it mostly just risked your health. 1977, Franco Columbo suffered a serious leg injury that most people thought would end his career completely. Almost nobody believed he'd come back from it. In 1981, he won Mr. Olympia again. That's not motivation talk. That actually happened. 1970s bodybuilding. Incredible physiques, questionable decisions. Legal steroids, zero secrecy, and side effects nobody warned anyone about. Back acne became a competition hazard. Mood swings had their own nickname. And somehow everyone just trained through it. Different times. Lee Haney won Mr. Olympia 8 times in a row from 1984 to 1991. That record stood alone for years, bigger than Arnold's total, longer reign than almost anyone in the sport's history. And somehow, he's one of the most underrated names in bodybuilding today. Okay, so this guy built one of the greatest physiques of the 70s, and he did it in a jail cell. Ken Waller, underground legend. Before he ever set foot in a real gym, he was training with nothing but body weight and homemade equipment behind bars. No spotters, no machines, just discipline and reps, day after day. By the time he got out, his frame was good enough to place at Mr. Universe. Coaches couldn't wrap their heads around it, building that kind of size and symmetry without touching a single weight plate. And honestly, it's proof of something old school lifters have always said. Your environment's an excuse. It's not a limit. This man did 23 reps with 495 pounds on his back, and then he collapsed. Tom Platz, 1980s. Bodybuilders called him the Golden Eagle, but everybody else just called him the guy with legs that didn't make sense. His quads measured almost 29 inches. That's bigger than most guys' waists. And he built them doing something nobody else was willing to do, training legs like it was a punishment, not a workout. 1979. There was no such thing as a women's bodybuilding championship until Lisa Lyon showed up and won the very first one. No blueprint, no precedent. She built the category from scratch, and most people training today have never even heard her name. This training method got banned by doctors, and it built one of the scariest physiques of the 60s. Before machines, before straps, before any of the modern gear, old school lifters used something called grip and hang training, hanging under load for time, using nothing but forearm and grip strength to control the descent. Doctors at the time pushed back hard. They said it put way too much stress on the joints. But the guys who used it anyway ended up with some of the thickest forearms and widest backs of the golden era. Arnold himself admitted in later interviews that a couple of these guys had a grip he could never fully match, no matter how much he trained.